Crosses the line. There we go. Marc Reinhard, European champion.
Oh, making it happen to the inside. This one going to Arlowski.
Welcome to the Team Cayote podcast. In this episode, Marc Reinhard.
All right, so welcome to the Team Cayote podcast. This time we've got multiple world champion and European champion, Marc Reinhard. Marc, how are you?
Wonderful. How are you?
I'm all right. It's raining outside. I don't know what the weather is like right now where you're at in Germany.
Now it's sunny, but it was raining just a couple hours ago. So same.
Yeah. It's summer, right? It's that time of year for rain, weirdly. I don't know.
normal stuff right now, yeah.
Yeah. So have you been catching the tennis? You've been watching Wimbledon?
Yeah, I did actually. Yeah, it was a pretty good final, I must say. I like both players, but
yeah,
I was on Alcaraz, to be honest.
All right, yeah, very good. I managed to catch little bits of it, and we talked to Mikhail recently, and obviously not congratulations to him, but first Polish champion. That was pretty interesting, I thought. So it's pretty good.
You mean the women's final?
Yeah. So now, so I like to start these Coyote podcasts sort of going way back. Now you've been obviously a champion. Well, you're currently holding 2 European championships. But way back in the late 2000s and the 2000 teens or 2010s, whatever we call them, you were multiple European and world champion. But before that, how did Marc Reinhard get into RC? Because this is one of those like really basic questions that I've never found any answer for it. So how did you get into RC? What was your first car?
Actually, it started there for sure. Like always, like the family, the dad is always involved. It started with airplanes, remote control airplanes, but then at one point it got a little bit too boring. That's what my father said when I was 6. And then he bought us a car. I don't remember. I think it was some Kyosho buggy we drove in the garden. And then he saw that we have more passion for this. And then I think in 1994, then he started to build our own racetrack with a hobby shop. And then it started going from there on, and doing mainly Tamiya Cup. And I drove kind of always after school. I went to the track and just drove.
Very cool. So from an early age, you were like deep into Tamiya already.
Yes. That's I think I drove Tamiya from 94 until maybe 2001, the Tamiya Cup, and then did a little bit of Kyle Cup back in the day with the Yokomo cars, and then doing also the modified. I think in 2002 I won the German Nationals in the modified, and from this moment on I just kept the modified class.
Well, yeah, of course, yeah, the big boys.
Exactly.
And at the same time, so was your dad was he mechanicking for you and your brother Tony, or was he just kind of like driving you everywhere, or what was his sort of level of support?
He was also racing, so I think back in the day it was not as much with mechanic stuff like it is nowadays. So we all worked together, if I remember right, and it was not a proper mechanic. So we all got the help from all the club members and stuff, and that's how it went.
Very cool. And your brother Tony, obviously the name behind Tony Sport. What was he? He was also racing up until like somewhat recently, I suppose. But what was he doing at the time?
Good question. When he kind of stopped, I just remember that he was mainly faster than me. But at one point, I think it was he got a girlfriend, and then it kind of stopped a bit, and then I think he lost a bit and didn't want to do it in a competitive way anymore. Right.
Okay. That kind of tends to happen with we see that with a lot of the teenage racers. Maybe either girlfriend, car, job, university, maybe, and then they maybe come back to it. Which is kind of a weird thing because I've got like a list of your. I think I actually looked this up. You know, in cycling the word is palmares, but apparently that's a thing in German as well. I know it's like a Belgian or a Dutch word or something like that. So you're a palmares going way back. So your first one was out of nowhere, 2004 world champion touring car, right? And then European champion in 12th scale in 2006. But in 2008, I don't know what happened, but European champion in 12th scale, world champion in touring car, and European champion in touring car, all in that same year. And then 2009, 10th buggy European champion.
Out of nowhere.
European champion in touring car, yeah. And then 2010 and 11, world champion and European champion for touring car. And then 2014 was, I mean, until recently, that was kind of your last one, world champion for 12 scale. And then in 2020, and then obviously, 2020 again, I should say, that was Milton Keynes 12 scale for world champion. And then just recently, earlier this year, world champion or European champion in 12th, and last year's European champion in touring car. How do you explain that?
You mean the big gap in between?
What happened there?
Yeah, maybe I took it a bit easier. No, I don't know. I mean, there was like Ronald was on a great streak. I would say he kind of won almost everything at the Euros.
Yeah.
I don't even know if he went to all the Euros. Like, I'm not 100% sure, but yeah, I think my strongest year was 2006. Even I didn't win the Worlds, but I think I won pretty much all the other races, like Reedy Race, LRP Masters back in the day. And
yeah, I didn't even list the Reedy Race stuff because that's my first introduction to you was the Reedy Race at the Tamiya USA track way back when, like before 2004 and before that.
Yeah, it was the best race, I would say. Yeah, so I don't know. I mean, they're always good races, so you cannot do it all the time. But in the end, it's good to me to show, even when I'm older now, that I'm still there, fight for the win. So also the World last year was great. So I still feel I got it. So if I have something to break without winning, it's okay.
And obviously, I mean, your sponsors must love it because you're just like you say, you're consistently in the show, and obviously this doesn't mention, and unfortunately, like the World Championship websites, they don't tend to mention like who was second and third and who was in the top 10, and usually like 7th, 8th, 9th, 10th, you're like disappointed faces in the photos and stuff like that. So I'm sure there were plenty of times that you were in the top 10 and podium that obviously, it would take hours and hours for me to look it up.
But I was also in like 10th one time in Hempstead, I think, and 5th in Gubbio. So it was not always podium, but still there.
It's just been an amazing run. So I mean, it's wild. So I mean, we'll try to maybe touch on that. But first of all, let's talk a little bit about do you remember your first win?
Worlds or just a win?
Just win, just like your first club race win.
No.
Other than beating your brother, maybe.
No, I don't know, because we had so many club races back on our own track, and but I don't have the first win. I think the first win, which felt good to me, was the first time I got the German national champion in the open modified class. Back in 2002.
That's quite a run. That's
I had some Tamiya Cup wins before, yes, but this one was kind of like, like trying to play with the big dogs in that time in Germany, and winning this one out of nowhere was maybe the first win I really remember.
And did you already have your first sponsor at that point, or was that kind of the launch pad to getting sponsorship?
No, I think Tamiya at that time didn't sponsor. I think it was Surikan who started in the same year, but I just drove Tamiya cars, but there was no real sponsoring. Maybe Timo Ryan with Oscar back in the day, because he was kind of my first sponsor who just kind of supported me, went with me, and I think from Orion might be the sponsoring for this. That
feeling of winning, is that what kept you going, or what I'm trying to get to, like what drives you to keep racing?
I think it's just a passion to the sport, like meeting all the friends and stuff. For sure, it's also about winning. If I would be like really shit now, maybe it would be different. Maybe I would be still in the hobby, but maybe not competing that good or driving. But I think everybody knows me. I'm not practicing too much, so I like to race. I like to do this sport. But when I'm home, I also throw the stuff in the corner and just have nothing to do with it except working at Tony Sport. But
Yeah.
racing wise, it's too much at one point. So it's also nice to have some days off. I see it now
Yeah.
with Michael Olowski. He's doing every race, but when I talked to him last weekend, he also said now he's happy to have a couple of days off without any RC. But then at one point, if it's getting too much, you also kind of maybe lose the motivation and then you can also go the wrong way. So it needs to be a good balance.
He actually mentioned you when I talked to him last week about the drive and the I guess it's dichotomy. Do you know what I mean? The difference between constantly being at a track every single day and racing every single day, and I guess sort of the Marc Reinhard way of doing things, where like drive hard, but then relax. And I don't know if that's maybe a trend that maybe Michael will start doing, or I don't know, but obviously everyone has their own ways of handling their professional life. So yeah, it's certainly something that he mentioned to me that I like you say, we've heard about how you sort of relax a bit, but it's interesting that Michael also picked up on that.
But I think the thing is, like, when I was in his position a long time ago, I was the same way. I just go everywhere. But I think it's gonna, if he is like 3, 4, whatever, 10 years later, I think he also calms down a bit, because it is kind of exhausting if you really just travel from A to B and 3 different classes and have to prepare yourself everything. So it's good in the beginning, but it's for sure also exhausting.
Yeah, and we've talked to racers like Bruno and David Ronefalk and Ongaro only does like one class and only just starting to do e-buggy a bit, but these other guys, it takes a couple of practice runs to get sort of into the headspace of doing off-road and going from 12th scale to 10th buggy to touring car to 8th buggy to e-buggy. And that's what Michael and Bruno and David are all doing. So
but this only works out if you have a good team behind you, because they need the help to get everything, like cars prepared, or at least maybe not full mechanic, but at least to not do like week after week different classes. They need to have some big help to do this.
Yeah, for sure. So obviously you've been running Awesomatics for quite a while. You don't have. I mean, I've seen you at the track quite a bit now recently. You don't seem to have like anyone building your cars for you, or maybe does Max do that and then bring the car and then? Actually, no, it's Mark Stiles, isn't it?
Yeah,
doing your 12th car.
He did one time, yeah, right.
Yeah.
No, it's touring car right now. I mean, in the beginning I also got sometimes Tim Wahl who did my cars. I just asked him to build one and Max, but recently I just try to do it myself, because it's always easier if you mess up to blame yourself than to someone else, and that's why. And I'm okay in ranching. I know everybody's gonna laugh now, but it's okay. For sure, I always need some help doing the races, doing some checkups with my car. It's not always 100%, but no, it's not like I have a mechanic like I used to have at Tamiya.
Yeah. Well, I remember when I first used to see Masami at the track, and his dad, Masaki, would be literally sleeping at the pit bench at the Tamiya track because he'd been rebuilding the whole night before. And so he's sleeping at the track, and you go, who's this guy who's just sleeping? What's he doing? Yeah. So yeah, you learn about how hard the work is, not just on the track, obviously, for you guys, but off the track for building and rebuilding in the hotel rooms and stuff like that. So just real quickly on what do you get up to on your days off, so to speak?
No, I'm just working every day at Tony Sport. So, like, let's say if I come home from a race on Sunday, I go Monday morning to work, like just doing normal stuff here, helping, and I mean, I can still have my free time. It's not like I have to be all the time from 8 to 5, but I want to do something, and we're building up some stuff together, like also my brand and stuff. So it's good to be here, good to do something, stay in contact, and like I said, if I want to go a week to Mallorca or something, it's always possible.
Well, it's not a bad life, is it?
It is okay. Yes.
So one of the questions I've asked quite a lot of the racers that we talked to is now Michael was saying he's home at the moment, like we were just talking about. He's only home literally like single digit numbers every month during the racing season. How often are you back home, whether it's at home or Mallorca or Germany, not racing? What's your sort of travel life like at the moment?
It seems not as much as before. There's not so much flying. I really thought a couple of days ago when was the last time I went in a plane to fly to a race. And I'm actually right now I'm more at home than on races. It's just like if there's like 2 races a month, yeah, then it's just like a couple of days you're home, like 10 days or something. But also the races for me, it's just going to Holland. I go by car. I can be home in 3 hours, so it's not like a crazy distance. So it's mainly I'm home quite a lot right now.
Yeah. What is it that, or is there anything that you think that the general race, like up and coming racers, club racers who want to be a professional and want to get their first and second and 10th sponsor, what do you think that they might misunderstand about being a pro RC racer?
If you want to be a pro racer, you have no other job normally, I would say. It's just like you need to have the sponsor to pay you your salary each month, and you have to do kind of this every day. Or you cannot have like a normal job in between, because then it's not.
Yeah.
If you have to ask for being off work, if you have 30 days off a year from work, this will not work out to try to be professional. That's for sure.
Yeah.
So that's the main thing. I think people don't want to take the risk to not have a normal job and trying to do this as a profession. So it works, but it's for sure different.
Yeah. And what is the biggest sacrifice that you would say that you've made to be a pro racer?
You mean what I really had to
give up? Yeah.
Actually, not much, because I still did. Like I said, when I'm home, I just hang out with friends, go play tennis, football, go to watch football and tennis. But like sometimes if we have a race, whatever, in Asia, and then you go in Asia a couple of times, you're a month's not home, then for sure you miss to be home to be with friends.
Yeah.
Because I see in the end it's a small industry. It's not like a Formula 1 driver who can just take this and go with a private jet from A to B and do whatever they want.
Yeah.
So no, I think the free time at home for sure suffer a bit.
Yeah, for sure. Now, do you feel like when you're on the rostrum and racing like elbow to elbow with, Michael on one side, Alex on the other, or Bruno and Luke or Simon or any of the other top racers that we see you racing all the time, how are you different when you're on the rostrum than when you're kind of either in the pits or the paddock or just like kind of waiting to walk up the rostrum steps? What's your shift in mindset?
I think to the outside I feel I look really relaxed, so I try to make fun before. But for sure, before the first qualifying round, I'm also a bit nervous, because this first round shows you the direction of how the race is going to be. But for sure, I'm always a guy who tries to get into the head of the others. I think Michael knows. Also, the worst, I always try to make fun before the qualifying talk, have a laugh, and I could feel like every run after that, he stepped always a bit further off me.
Yeah.
So he didn't want to get interrupted. He's like more in his zone, I would say. And I, until I stand on my position on the driver's stand, I'm still pretty relaxed and do some funny stuff, just more open. But maybe just now, after the big result they had.
Michael always seems to have those big sunglasses that just like make him look like the Terminator,
Yes.
But not a lot of the racers use those reflective sunglasses to kind of like hide things and like just like keep just stone faced and just. But yeah.
No, he's always super focused. He's focused, and he's always the first one who stands in line, going up the rostrum, and but that's what we see also in qualifying. As soon as the sound comes, he's right there. He drives the first lap, there as a lap 7 or whatever. He's just already on point. which
Yeah,
shows that
definitely.
for him it's the right way what he's doing. But I still try to
Exactly.
interrupt him.
Yeah. Do you ever find that the someone trying to do mind games on you, or that like your jokes are maybe like working to get under someone else's skin?
Mm, as I'm always the person who is doing this, there's not much coming back. So yeah, I think also back in the day, 2008 with Hara, we always had a good talk, and I always like being a bit open, say I gonna win now, or something like this, trying to be in the head, or just trying to say I gonna attack you. And it might help, I don't know, but
Yeah.
that's sometimes what I'm doing.
I mean, when I race, we always like joke around and say, "Oh yeah, I've geared up this time, so I'm gonna pass you on the straight." You know, like right at the end of the
Yeah.
straight, I'm just gonna go right on the inside of you. That sort of like messing around, just like really just trying to get under someone else's in
Well, the
someone's
same in
head.
Appledon at the ETS round one. I was obvious P5, not the position to win, but I went to almost everyone. I said I gonna win. I said something gonna happen with car 1 and 2, and then whatever car 3 and 4 cannot avoid the crash, and I gonna win. And then
Yeah.
I won. It really happened like I said it. And yeah, like this you can get in the head sometimes. And
Yeah.
also Michael said after A3, he said when he hear my name being in P2, he was like, no way, I can't let him win now, because he said he gonna win. And yeah, so it means it's always something in the head for sure. Some mental games.
No, that's interesting. I mean, that's I didn't ask Michael about that, but obviously when you hear Michael or Mark or your name being called, how much does that kind of take you out of the zone when you're driving at 10 tenths and trying to keep everyone else at, I think in that A3 final he probably had like at least a second or 2 or 3 second gap behind him or something like that. So
Yeah,
I mean,
he was far away.
yeah, how much does that like kind of get your attention, and is it ever too much?
I must say when I was in P2 and I could still see his guy. I know it was like 1.8, but I'm like, come on, get your shit together and catch him, because I'm in the final. I try, or something that looks like I can still step it up a bit, and I was catching, but for sure Michael is professional enough. He knows what to do, and but I still wanted to, and you can always step it up at one point. And like I said, Michael always hear my name, and then I know, okay, he starts thinking as well, and you
Yeah.
cannot take it too easy. And yeah,
Especially when you have Scotty on the mic, and like when you see a gap starting to close down a bit, and then you're like the pitch of Scotty or whoever's announcing starts to get higher and higher and higher, and it's like, oh, it's Michael and Mark and Michael and Mark and Michael,
it helps
It's-
for a
I'm just-
person in P2
yeah, definitely.
because you can push more.
Yeah, for sure. So just on being an RC pro, who was it when you were, I guess, was Tamiya your first sort of big chassis sponsor, or was that Yokomo?
No, it was Tamiya. Like contract wise, the first contract I made was after the Worlds I won in 2004. So right after I got a contract with Tamiya.
Right. Okay. And so up to that point, who was, because you're beating drivers that I assume you were looking up to that point, and who did you look up to before that, before you realize I'm on the grid ahead of these guys? Who was your sort of idol?
Yeah, they were back in the day. It was two. It was Hara and Masami, 100%.
Right.
And I also when you talked to Hara the first time we met, we both were sponsored by Ryan. We met in Geneva, I think practicing before the DHI Cup, and it was the first time I met Hara. And yeah, I was super shy. I don't know, 16, 17, I don't know. And he always says I came by and I was like shaking and blah blah, and now he says I'm yeah, whatever, making fun about him. But
Yeah.
yeah, this was the first time, and he was for sure. I was looking up to him. Definitely, he was. Yeah, for me, he was still is the legend.
Yeah. I mean, definitely, I've got his body show over there, I must say. So I'm quite happy to have snagged that. Now, so Hara and Masami were your heroes. Who were your, at that time when you were really starting to get into? Is that the time that you sort of turned pro after the World Championship?
Yeah.
Okay.
There
So
was still
who-
these two. Still these two to
Yeah. And at that point or around that time, who were your mentors in the RC paddock? Who was guiding you along and saying, well, maybe you should talk to that guy, maybe you should talk to Hara, maybe you should talk to Oscar. Who were your mentors in the paddock that helped you along the way?
Oscar. Oscar was a guy when I was young who kind of took me, and also we drove together to races, and also in Florida there was before the race, and we did practice. We go together, so kind of Oscar saw some potential in me, and he kind of really pushed me. He did a good sponsoring for me with Orion, and I would say he was a guy who kind of put me in this direction.
Oh, very good.
Beside
Very
my
good.
family, definitely. Let's say
Yeah.
family on the side, but
Yeah. And did your father Uwe have any sort of also like a guiding hand of say, well, maybe don't pay attention to that guy, pay attention to Oscar and anything like that? Because I mean, he's a pretty successful
I'm sure he
businessman.
kind of still controlled it in the back, for sure. Maybe he didn't feel it, but I think he knew who to trust. He knew if I'm with Oscar, everything is fine because he knows him also a long time. And I think he in the background for sure. He also managed this.
Yeah, very cool, very cool. And as far as like racing skills and like maybe your setup and I don't know if organization or how to packing for a race and stuff like that. Who was how did you learn all that? Was there someone that you kind of at the club level sort of sat next to and go, okay, well, what does when you're moving your shocks, what does that do? How do you pack all your gear diffs and all this stuff? How do you do that? Was there anyone else that helped you along, like even before you turned pro?
Yeah, we had two guys in our club who were always super clean and nice, and my father always says you have to go with them. They show you how to do it. Also, like they soldering the batteries and make it nice. So I went to their home a couple of times, and they kind of showed me. I think I didn't take all of it because I'm not the cleanest guy. Also in kitchen and sorting my stuff. But this I remember these two guys were actually also brothers, and they also won the Tamiya Euro Cup, went to Japan doing Tamiya, and
all right.
Yeah, they kind of helped me a lot.
Are they still racing? Do you still see them at the track or the club?
No, they're not there. I mean, sometimes I see them, but not often. Maybe I saw them last time 5 years ago or something.
Yeah, well, that's always helpful to have someone who's been around even just a couple of years more than you to pull you along and go with this. I'm terrible with soldering. Nobody ever taught me, but back when I started, there was no YouTube. You just like heat up a thing and kill a pack of batteries because you overheated a cell. It's like, okay, well, there's $50 gone. Great. So who's a competitor that you would say that you've learned the most from?
I would also say Hara, because we were also close in the end. I mean, we raced a lot, but also on the other hand, we could talk, and he also showed me some stuff, and because he was way more experienced than me, and he has still some sneaky stuff, and I was never so close with Masami. He was more on his own with his 5-people crew.
Yeah.
So no, with Hara we were pretty open because we were in the same Orion team, and it was. I think it was a good help.
Were you guys on the same team? I can't remember which Worlds it was. Was it 2008? There's a really popular RC racing TV clip that we've titled "The Greatest RC Touring Car Race in the World." I'm assuming you're familiar with it.
Yes.
Do you guys ever like? Do you ever just like throw that back at him every now and then?
Yeah, we always talk about it.
To the left, then to the right. Rheinard's down the inside. He's through. He's through. And just listen to the crowd. You heard what they thought. Now let's have a look at this again. That's right at the end of the manoeuvre. Down the inside. Well, you know what? It's a bit robust, but side-to-side contact.
We always say this. Yes, always when you see us, you say, "I said I know I took it from you, but yeah." No, he accepted. It was a great final, and it was just unlucky that he I think he flipped onto the straight, and
Yeah.
would have been nicer to share the roster, the podium with him, but yeah, unfortunately he didn't.
Yeah. I can't remember on the straight. I guess he was just like pushing just too much, and then just traction rolled off, didn't he?
Yeah, I think he hit the curb a bit. He wanted to go. I went a bit wide, and then I guess he saw the chance to come back and pass me, but then he hit the curb and he rolled, and then I was.
It was truly an epic race. It was really, really good. So, do you ever think about your legacy? I mean, we're talking about your wins, I mean, even just your world champion and European championship wins. Do you ever like think about those and go, oh man, it'd be nice to, like double, like repeat, three-peat? I mean, what was it? Was it Spachet got 4 12-scale Euros in a row, and I think Hagbert had 6 or 7, I can't remember, like an insane amount. Do you ever think that, it'd be nice to, do a triple and then a quadruple and then a quintuple, or, what do you think about your legacy?
No, I think every race I take it independent, and I mean, for sure it might be nice at one point to say, I won 5 in a row, but no, I'm not. I even don't know how many Euro titles I have. I don't have many. It always sounds like I have a lot, but at one point I had more world titles than Euros. And for me, the race like Reedy Race and back in the LFP Masters, these races were like, let's say, a bit more for me than the Euros. Especially 12 scale. I think at one time, I think almost no one drove 12 scale mod. It just started to be again since 4 or 5 years. I don't know.
Yeah.
Whatever, from 2015 to whatever, I think it was pretty much Heckberg who went, and that's why for me, if I have 5, 6, or 7 Euro titles in the end, I just don't care. I just want to show that I'm still there, that I have good results, and people know me, and not because of the results, just be like a normal guy in the pits.
Yeah. Now, do you think that I mean, you mentioned the DHI Cup, the LRP, TCM, TITC, I imagine will also be another massive one to win. Where do you think those rank in I guess in importance to the Euros and the Worlds, and why?
I must say the most difficult race is for sure the TITC. In Thailand, I think everybody is there, and it's so challenging, and the track is it changes so much, and to win this race, I think it's really tough. I mean, Michael showed it in his first attempt, but I know that I just won one time. This was back in 2006, and I almost win every year. So
yeah,
this is a good race, but for sure, this besides the Worlds, I think the hardest one.
No, I mean, obviously everyone comments on the changing nature of the track because of the heat and the humidity and everything. Is that like part of its appeal, or does that make it, the difficulty of chasing the humidity and the track conditions, or would you prefer if that track were put inside an air-conditioned hall and the same track, same competitors, but just without the massive wild temperature and humidity swings and stuff like that?
I think especially this makes it what it is. It's either that or like practicing almost a week before. The conditions between the practice week and the race week is so different. Like you go, let's say, a lot slower when the race starts because you have more break times in between. The track is not used every second, I would say, and this makes it interesting. That's also why we always say in practice, okay, it doesn't matter because if you flip in practice in the race and it starts, it might have not understeer, but at least the car is easier to drive. I think this makes it so special. And yeah, from the morning to the evening, the conditions change, and it's tough. But I think this is what makes it so interesting and so popular.
Yeah. Now, do you guys, or maybe Max does, or I don't know, but do you guys have like a spreadsheet of here's the temperature and the humidity percentage and here's the traction settings and this and that, or or is it just all kept in individual notebooks amongst the Awesomatics team? I mean, how do you guys try to track that sort of from a race engineer sort of perspective?
To To be honest, we just see if there's a cloud or no cloud in the, the sky. This makes a difference. I'm not the guy who goes with the temp gun to the track and checks everything, and also not the guy who writes down every single step I do. So I'm sure the other team doing it, but in the end, you know, roughly what the track gonna be 2 hours later.
Yeah.
That's all.
Right. Okay. It's yeah. I mean, if you watch enough F1 and all the behind the scenes stuff, and like they have banks of computers and so much mental mind power just at the track, and then also in the HQ, and now they have like AI running all. Obviously, that's an F1 team. We're talking about model car racing, but yeah, it's very interesting to just see how you guys handle that, basically. So now, just real quick on 10th Buggy, because you used to race that as well, obviously, like we mentioned. Is there ever a possibility that someone might be able to tempt you back into that?
I always like buggy, and I might do a couple of races maybe in the future, but I also must say buggy on carpet or whatever is not what I want to. But it's just like touring car. The cars are low. It's just way more punch because of the pin tires, and you have to jump straight, not steer when you land. It's not buggy what it should be. That's why I'm happy that the World this year is on clay again, and they're going to be some more. You don't have to use a 4.5 motor like touring car. You go back to 8.5, what it used to be. That's why I like let's say the Euros last year. I watched a couple of minutes. The one in Sweden. I stopped watching it because it was absolutely horrible to watch. It's no buggy for me, and if it stays like this, I won't come back. That's not the category I like.
So I mean, there's the tiniest possibility that like a manufacturer could have tempted you to just try the Worlds just for the heck of it this year, because it's on loose dirt.
Didn't get any mail, but no. If I want to do it, I need to practice, because I don't want to.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
I would not fight for the win anyway, but I don't want to be super bad. So I want to be still like enjoying it. If I'm super bad, I also don't enjoy it, and then it's a waste of time and money.
Yeah. So I suppose my follow up on do you prefer loose dirt is we know the answer to that one, like proper off road where you have to like clean your car after every race and stuff like that.
Definitely. Or like if it's on carpet, it needs to be maybe slick tires. Everything gets a bit loose again, and you can have some nice fights, and you can put the car in a position to jump in the corner and steer, and then it doesn't flip. Yeah. This might help to have a slick tire or whatever. I don't know.
Yeah, it is interesting how 10th off-road is kind of, I mean, well, it's definitely split, and then in some places, like in America, it's split even further, where there's, like the bubblegum clay tracks and slick off-road tires. It's really weird, but I mean, to me, it's really weird, but people will race it, so some people must like it. Now, just on the Osmatics cars, how much? Obviously, I mean, you're not the main designer of it. I can't remember if Max is or not. But I mean, how much input do you say? Like, well, I think this part should be, move the camber links forward this or that, or do you just drive it by instinct and just move things where you need to move them, and then tell them, no, this part needs to be fixed or something?
I'm actually not really involved in any development, I would say. I just put sometimes my input in, but in the end, it's not up to me. They have their own guys there, on thinking as well, and we can just say what we as a driver think. And the thing is, we have also more stock drivers than modified drivers, and it's two different, like stock and modified. You cannot really compare.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm happy with the car. There's not much to blame, and so far there's nothing I could say what should be improved.
And there's an entirely new car now, isn't there? I think the 800RR, I think is what it's called.
Yeah, but to me it's just like an updated version. The shocks are a bit different, and some other small stuff, but the basic of the car is still the same. So it's just an upgrade, I would say.
Now, last year you won the Touring Car Euros in Belgium. Now, how's that defense of your Euros title shaping up?
Yeah, I will for sure try my best to repeat it. But I went to the Utrecht track last week. Yeah, nothing much to say. I hope it's going to be a good Euros, but yeah, the track itself and everything around, in my opinion, I'm open. Seems not to be the right place to make a Euros, to be honest.
Right.
But anyway,
Okay.
it's the same for everyone, and we have to try to deal with it. And for sure, I'm going to be ready to fight again. And it's going to be difficult as any other race as well. So the chance is always there.
Yeah, and you have a pretty big Automatics team around you. Do you you've got, I mean, Simon is certainly stepping up his efforts, and obviously he's running only mod this year. Is Lucas still full time, I assume, with being a pro touring car racer?
Yeah.
And I guess I'm assuming, yeah. Well, I mean, but
We
you also have
three
like
guys, let's say.
Ollie and Max in spec.
So,
So do those guys, obviously everyone tends to, they'll do the best for themselves, but are you ever able to get like some helpful input from those guys? I have heard that I think Lucas seems to run like a really weird sort of setup that no one can use his setup or something like that.
yeah, I think we all work kind of together. So if someone has a question or whatever, or help, for sure we are all open in the team. And yeah, like you said, Lucas is, I think, the guy who tries and tests the most. Also the things maybe at least I wouldn't think about. And yeah, he's pretty good at this. If it helps in the end, I don't know. For me, it always feels like if I test something, in the end of the day, I come back to where I started with setup-wise. Sometimes it's just more important to get used to it and just drive and just to improve driving and learning the track better and just keep going, because you cannot feel a 0.5 shim here or there
Yeah.
1 hour later in the day where the track might be a bit different, the tire maybe not the same 100% as it was before. And so you need a good basic setup, which you always like, and then just go from there and just make tiny changes. There's no time to make any crazy things during the event.
Yeah. So how many, I suppose Lucas has been there to the TITC a few times. So what kind of swings in setups do you guys tend to have from, like morning where the track is cold and maybe it's a bit more humid than in the afternoon, or I don't know what the weather's like, but I'm just assuming. Like, is it, I mean, the shocks are completely different on the Automatics car, so I can't really,
Yeah.
like changing whole spring setups and, anti-dive and all these like major things that would make like huge differences to things that make tiny little differences, like you say, like a half mil shim on the front or back of an arm.
Yeah,
What's the swing in setups?
I think it's not really a big thing. It's a lot the tire prep, I would say. Maybe less tire additive or shorter time or something like this. But the setup itself, it's not like you're going to change it completely from, let's say, cooler conditions in Thailand to like the happy hour in the evening. It can be the flex. I would say flex can be a big thing, like whatever now
Right.
steel chassis, or going in the evening, a harder chassis like the alu chassis can help. But it's more or less just how you personally like the feeling of the car. Also, like you said, the setup from Lucas might not work for me because our driving
Yeah.
style is a bit different, and so it's everybody's independent this way. And setup-wise,
Does
I
anyone?
think it's just small gaps.
Right. So does anyone actually do that where they change like their chassis from a graphite to steel or aluminum or anything like that?
I think testing for sure that we do the test in the practice, but
Yeah.
during the race, I think no one gonna have a car for the morning and one for the evening. I think we're gonna race
Yeah.
the car.
That's what I was getting at was
Yeah.
like that seems like a massive jump because you have not just the chassis, but you might forget like to put a set of shims on the front or the
Yeah.
back or something. Like, it'll be a completely different setup on top of, yeah. So, all right. So brings us all to the Coyote products that you use. Now you use the full package, as we call it. You use the motor, the speedo, and the battery. So class by class, if it's all right with you, can you talk us through what you use for 12th and touring car, and what you would suggest for racers who are running Spec 12th and Fronty and Formula and the other classes?
As I'm more involved in modified stuff, I actually don't know about the stock stuff. But like, let's say 12 scale, we don't have anything yet, so I didn't use anything of just our batteries, obviously. But we are still working on the 1S ESC and also the motors, which is in Europe still 6.5, I reckon. Yeah, so we're still working on this one. Formula, I guess like the normal stock speedo we have is absolutely fine. And the motors, they're just on the market, or still getting there.
Yeah.
Yeah, but let's say my package with what we do put the most effort in right now in the ESC seems to work pretty well. Yeah, it's good still for a brand which is like, let's say 1 year, roughly, maybe a bit more than a year on the market, is already showing pretty good performance.
Yeah, definitely. Now, I talked to Yillis a few weeks back, and he was saying at the ETS in Apeldoorn, he was going from the 6300 pack to the 6500 pack at different times of the day, because you could put more power on the tracks. Obviously, that uses more power from the batteries. Or were you swapping things around like that yourself?
I did in practice. I tried in practice at 6.3. It could have worked, but at the race, you never know. If you go the extra lap or something, it might have been close. So I decided from the beginning on to use a 6.8 actually, not 6.5, 6.8.
Okay. Oh, sorry. Yeah.
Yeah. And I just kept this one on for the whole race, so I didn't change anything in the race conditions.
Do you prefer to stick with one thing that you know and not chase setups, like changing the battery halfway through an event? Is that your preferred sort of mindset that you like to stick with?
Yeah, I would. It's also because of the balance of the car. So I actually, if I know already in practice the weeks before that the 6.8 is the battery to use, I will not think about trying a different battery during the race. So I just stick with what I have.
Yeah. Okay. Well, that's pretty good. Now, so just thinking back over your career, can you think of a moment that maybe changed your career for the better or for the worse, but that no one knows about?
No, whatever changed is when I won the first Worlds. This changed, let's say, my life, because this gave me the direction I went to now. So, but otherwise, like some ups and downs, it didn't really change anything for me. Yeah.
And now I heard a story, and maybe this is a good time to maybe no, it's fine. It's a wholesome story. Okay. It's fine. So now the story I heard was the MR33 brand, which is obviously your name. Now the 33, that was your driver number at the first Worlds, or the first Worlds that you won. Is that correct?
The second one, the one in Thailand.
Okay. All right. Okay.
Yes. So I picked this number after I won this one, as we wanted to start something with our own brand, and then I looked like, okay, and the 33 looks okay. And then that's the story behind this.
Very cool. Very cool. It's, I mean, VR46. I was just wearing a Rossi shirt yesterday, so it's
just Verstappen copied me,
Yeah. Now, do you how involved are you with finding the various products and stuff like that go into making up all the different? I mean, there's like tools, there's pit towels, there's the neoprene zipper boxes, all sorts of things that go into the MR33 brand. How involved are you with that?
I'm kind of involved, but I'm not the guy who has always the good ideas. So it's more like in the Tony Sport team that mainly my brother, but also then Patrick and all the guys, that they see some stuff that this would be also good. Maybe we can do something similar, or we have this idea. This would be nice to have this in the pits, and in the end it's like a combination of all of us. But let's say mainly Tony and Patrick.
Oh, that's very cool. And of course, there's the new MR33 / Cayote sort of mashup where it's got the Cayote green but the MR33 logo, isn't it? Yeah, so that's very cool.
Yeah,
and
it's
I imagine
popular now.
Yeah, I was going to say I imagine that's probably selling out on the Tony Sports shop, isn't it?
Yeah, it's good. I'm doing sometimes the printing of the shirts, so I can see how many we have to print, and it's pretty good. It's nice to
Very
see,
cool.
and the color is just unique for RC. It's more like a trade
Definitely. Yeah.
AMG thing, and first people thought, oh, a bit weird, but I think now you can recognize the stuff.
Yeah.
Really good.
Yeah. Are you into cycling at all? Do you know anything about cycling, Tour de France, and all that stuff? No, not really. Okay.
No.
Well, there's a brand called Bianchi that has the same sort of that seafoam green, that minty green as we call it.
Okay.
And so I recently got one of those bikes. I'm like, yes, now I get it. I love the color. I really, really like the color now. So if you have a couple of MR33 shirts, Matt wears. We both wear large.
I bring you some to the Euros.
Awesome.
Maybe to Eigen.
Yeah, in a couple weeks.
Yeah.
Okay, so last question for you, Mark. If you could be RC dictator for the day, what would you change about RC racing? What's a rule, maybe 2 rules, but what's the main thing that you would want to see change?
Wow. I always like to have a different style of racing, not only this kind of, let's say, boring qualifying and then going into the finals. Because for someone who just wants to watch the race, it's just like qualifying, yeah, nice, they drive all on their own and nothing happens. Just the finals are interesting. So this could be nice to have some different way of racing, which like the Reed race showed, which was always a good success.
Yeah.
Yeah, and otherwise, like, some easier rules maybe, especially for the Euros and stuff like this. Like some older rules which shouldn't be in the rule book anymore. That everything should be with the driver association maybe. Some drivers come together and make everything more for the drivers and not for whatever what the rule book says. That everything is a bit more relaxed at the races and not as strict as some races are. Just to have a little bit more, like an open mind, and that you can also change stuff during a race if everybody knows it's not going that way. But some just stick to some stupid rules which are from 1980 or something.
All right, good stuff. All right, well, thank you very much, Mark, for your time. We hope you have a nice sunny rest of the week there at Tony Sport.
Let's hope.
And thank you very much for joining us for this episode of the Team Cayote podcast.
Thank you very much.
Crosses the line. There we go. Marc Reinhard, European champion.
Oh, making it happen to the inside. This one going to Orlowski.